let me set the stage for you. We're heading up to the state of Maine, and the Democratic Party's national strategy to reclaim control of the U.S. Senate, Graham Platner, their secret weapon kind of up there. Listen, whether or not you think he's a communist, self-avowed, I might mention. He's a self-avowed communist back when I guess he was just a little more stressed. I've had some bad days or some shit. Yeah, I know. I've known plenty of veterans. A lot of them make some harsh choices when they're not feeling the best on some days. That's fine. I get it. You know what I mean? You had a lot of things happen to you. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you were just some like reporting officer. You went over there, you didn't see any combat, but you just like JD Vance and you just like wrote articles. Maybe you were some faggy dude little like that and you want to pretend that you're some PTSD macho man. Okay, whatever. But Graham Platner, the insurgent progressive nominee, challenging longtime Republican incumbent and Miss Shaky herself, Susan Collins, is facing an immense pressure to drop out of the race following this bombshell report alleging sexual assault. The accusation has triggered a Taylor Swift sweeping collapse of his political backing. Zohra Mamdani's even pulling out of the support vacuum. What are we doing? We're ditching him just because he might have done something? Like, I thought, blue no matter who. Like, I thought that's the faggy little line we were all going with. Throwing what was considered a critical must-win seat for the Democrats into an absolute chaotic mess. The turmoil erupted after a Maine woman, not a main character, but like a woman from Maine. No woman from Maine is a main character. No man from Maine is a main character. 41-year-old Jenny Racicot, Racicot. She came forward and detailed an encounter from late 2021. Ooh, only 5 years ago. Jenny, I'm going to call her Jenny, told reporters that Platner, a Marine Corps veteran and populist outsider, entered her home and uninvited while heavily intoxicated and forced her to have sex despite her repeatedly telling him to stop. While Platner has fiercely denied the allegation, calling it a categorically false statement, the video he posted to social media, he acknowledged the severe political damage, stating that he is canceling events and taking time to reflect on his own campaign's next steps. No. You know why I'm saying no? Because in my opinion, you don't need time to think about whether or not you should continue to run if the accusations are not true. That's just my, listen. If somebody is just popping shit off on the internet, people are going to call you a rapist. People are going to call you a child predator. And if you are not that, you should be able to stand up to the idea of the allegations. You shouldn't be like, people have been talking a lot about my pedophilic past, so I need to take a minute to step back and really think about the future of my career. What are you doing? What are you doing? You are making yourself look so guilty. Okay. The political fallout, obviously, as you can expect, has been swift, severe, devastating for the campaign. Massive waves of prominent Democrats and progressive allies have rushed to completely rescind their endorsements. Top party leaders, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, issued a joint statement calling the allegations incredibly disturbing and demanding his immediate withdrawal from the race. Even Platner's most vocal progressive champions in Congress, like California Representative Ro Khanna, have pulled their support, stating firmly that violence against women represents an absolute red line. We don't even know if this is true. We don't even know whether or not it's true. Everybody was perfectly fine with the idea that, he's a womanizer, whatever. These are just allegations and whatnot. But the moment that he has an unproven allegation of rape, suddenly they're like, all right, fuck. We can't deny it anymore. That's really the bad one. All right, fine. Us Democrats have gotten in trouble for covering that one up with Clinton in the past and whatever. All right, fine. Yeah, we won't support him. That's really what's happening. It's them getting caught with their hands in the cookie jar. National and state Democrats are now in a frantic high-stakes race against the clock. Under Maine election law, Platner has until a strict 5 p.m. deadline on July 13th to officially withdraw from the ballot if the party hopes to successfully replace him with a new nominee before November. If Platner insists and resists the immense pressure and decides to stay in the race, analysts are warning that the seat is all but guaranteed to remain securely in Republican hands, effectively derailing the Democrats' broader blueprint for for winning a Senate majority this fall. Shit. It is all falling apart for them. Who could have seen this coming? And Rachel Maddow, you could hear how devastated she was when she had to read this shit off. She sounded so sad.
Today, there was this thunderclap report in Politico, later followed by an interview with CNN from a woman who says that Graham Platner raped her in 2021.
Hey.
Platner has denied the allegation, but he also says he's going to take time to reflect.
What does that mean?
On the best path forward for his campaign. Since then, things have been falling apart for his campaign. Prominent Democratic endorsers of Graham Platner, like Congressman Ro Khanna of California, Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona, today both pulled their support from Graham Platner. The very influential progressive Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, tonight she also called on Graham Platner to withdraw from the race.
You phony fucks. You were perfectly fine with this guy. You were perfectly fine with him when he was a womanizing creep. There were plenty of ideas that maybe, these encounters with women were a little odd and whatnot, but there's just enough wiggle room. There's just enough wiggle room for us to say that, maybe these are politically motivated, maybe these stories are a little bit bullshit, and maybe we can get Bernie Sanders on the stage with him. Oh, she got the story out. Don't be pussies about this. I want every Democrat who has pulled their endorsement to re-endorse him. Your Brain on Air's official re-endorsement. We didn't even rescind our endorsement. We didn't endorse him in the first place. But now your Brain on Air's official endorsement goes out. Graham Platner, take it home. Take the victory home for the Democrats in Maine. I don't even give a shit anymore because, listen, I am brave enough to go along with the scheme. I'm brave enough. I'm brave enough to realize that these pussies up in Maine that were like, blue no matter who, and then the moment that they got flack because they were supporting a known rapist, a known, sexual guy who likes to play with the lines of sexuality, the moment that it's out in the open and it's undeniable, then they're like, all right, fine, I guess I'll rescind my support. You pussies. You have no backbone. You have no sense of going, yeah, I support a pedophile. What do you want? I think he's better for the country than your fucking... I think my pedophile is better than your pedophile. My rapist is better than your rapist. That's what the argument becomes. Ultimately, that's what it becomes.
The Maine Democratic Party this afternoon called on him to withdraw as the Democratic Party's nominee for Senate. Now, the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee...
We would like to invite Graham Platner onto the show and have him explain these absolutely nothing accusations. If they are nothing, if they are like absolutely, if she's making shit up, listen, Graham, it's up to you to tell me that, like, if you tell me she's making shit up, you will be able to come on this podcast and you'll be able to explain yourself and you'll be able to try to rebuild your image. But I swear to God, you just got to be honest with us. You got to stop this bullshit. You got to go, I didn't do anything, but let me take a minute to think about whether or not I'm going to continue to run. You guilty piece of shit.
Done the same. This is the Senate Committee for the National Democratic Party, which helps Democratic candidates in all Senate races in the country. They're now saying that if Graham Platner remains the nominee in Maine, the Democratic Party's Senate campaign arm will no longer provide any support to the campaign
Pussies.
in the state of Maine. Now, on top of that, just in the last few minutes, the chairman of the National Democratic Party, Ken Martin, has also said that it is time for Graham Platner to end his campaign.
Well,
now, under state law in Maine, as long as Graham Platner withdraws from the race within a week from now, as long as he withdraws by July 13th, 1 week from today, the state Democratic Party can choose someone to replace him. They'll have another 2 weeks. They'll have until July 27th.
And guess who they're going to grab? They're going to look at their bin of people that they have photos of having sex with children with, and they're going to grab some fucking suit, some fucking, oh, look at this guy. He's like a farmer like you guys, except, he ran a sex trafficking operation from when he was 20 to something, and then he became the CEO of his dad's, Mint Mobile company or some shit like that. It's like, here he is. He's just like you. He's just like you, except he worked harder than you pieces of shit. And he actually has money and he lives the American dream. And you should vote for him because he believes that you should be allowed to kill babies.
Do so. All that means is that this is a story that's going to resolve quickly, one way or the other. I think in normal times, 99 out of 100 political observers and probably 99 out of 100 just regular people would say that all signs point to the exit tonight for this candidate, Graham Platner. That said, when's the last time it felt to you like we were living in normal times?
Oh,
They're not normal times, and I'm not making any predictions as to what is going to happen, but I will tell you honestly that the wheels are coming off, including some important financial considerations to take into effect for the future of the Platner campaign should he choose to stick it out.
She knows that her best chance at getting their best chance really right now at getting the Senate majority back is if they tell this bitch to eat it. They tell this bitch, you need to shut your mouth. You need to stop talking to Jake Tapper at CNN. You need to stop going and running your big fat ugly mouth, and you need to shut the fuck up. That's what the Democrats, they need to go on the offensive. That's what they're going to do. I promise you in a second, that's exactly what they're going to do.
He was heavily intoxicated.
Here's the woman.
With me and wasn't listening when I said no. And
you were saying no, don't, over and over.
I remember.
He was like, "Mate, you should have told him don't a few more times." A guy, Jake Tapper.
I've had to recall a lot of this. This is something that I tried for many years to forget, and so small details, might get past me. But yes, I remember very
small details might get past me. Like the small details of when I was raped. Small details.
And I'm not into this. I remember that the most. So you're saying that the most firmly. I remember specifically him grabbing at my chest, and I hit his hand and I said, "Don't touch me." And I remember that during the altercation.
And then he kept going.
Yeah.
I know that.
So she's had this from 2021, and she chose to come out right before. By the way, this woman is a plant. And I'm not saying that this maybe didn't happen, this whatever, but they found her. They found her and they said, sit on your allegation. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say who is at her door, whether or not they're DNC officials or anybody. They showed up to her door and they went, just sit on this for a little while. We have to decide whether or not we're even going to be able to find a replacement, but then we're going to let you have your story told. We're going to let you go ahead and we're going to let you say whatever you gotta, but we need to give us time to find a nice Jew. We're going to throw a nice Jew in his nice spot. Some dude from the coast of Maine, you know what I mean? He's lived here. He doesn't know anything about oyster fishing like this fucking guy, but he breaks challah and whatnot on Passover. And we're gonna figure out a good replacement candidate, but just do not come out against him until right before he has the chance to resign. That's exactly what they wanted. They wanted a Joe Biden type situation where a disastrous public event, whether it's an accusation of rape or if it's him performing terribly on a debate stage, they wanted to sabotage him. They wanted to sabotage him when they knew that it was right before the buzzer, right before they were like, all right, shit, we're not going to be able to close it before summer ends. All right, fine, get this presidential candidate in. Kamala's there. All right, now let's just get this guy in there. Oh, boom. And that's what the Democrats always do. They beat you right at the buzzer.
You have been very reluctant to tell this story.
Why?
Reluctant.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you're here.
Thrown up 3 times today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so performative. I've thrown up 3 times today. I don't even believe you anymore.
Why did you ultimately decide to do it? Why?
Because I like money.
Forward?
I like attention.
A few reasons. One of the biggest ones is that I think that there are a lot of men in this world relying on the silence of women.
Many. There are many. Here's the video he posted denying the
I
allegations.
wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
What? Okay, but if it's categorically false, why do you need to take time to reflect on how your campaign is going to proceed? CNN giving us brief clips, but I want to hear I want to hear his whole thing. You know what? We'll cover it later. I don't care. We don't have time for it. What we do have time for is that author Stephen King right now is taking this as a great opportunity to come out and defend Graham Platner amid allegations of sexual assault. Listen, I love this little dorky, mousy son of a bitch. He's always been a creep, writing about kids having sex in the sewer in It. If you've never read any of his books, I understand being a person where you're like, oh, he just tells good stories and whatnot. Dolores Claiborne, it's a beautiful story, but it is shown that this man has a lot of demented things on his brain. And he, with his pedophilic tones that he has in It, when you actually go into the story, it's bizarre. He's just a creepy little guy who likes creepy little stories and maybe creeping out on little kids. I don't know what Stephen King's up to, but he's always up to some weird shit. Here he's taking a grand opportunity to defend Graham Platner amid these sexual assault allegations.
Democrat Graham Platner says he's taking the time to reflect on the best path forward in the Maine Senate race after a woman from Maine accused him of sexually...
Because, when someone falsely accuses you of sexual assault, I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, but when you get falsely accused of sexual assault, generally speaking, it's a great idea to pull back from the public. It's a great idea to say, now, I know these aren't true, but I really got to think about whether or not I even want to do this anymore, guys. Because if people are going to be doing this, I don't see a career for me.
Assaulting her. Platner is denying the allegation, but he stopped short of saying he would end his campaign. He signaled, though, he is weighing its future as he seeks to unseat Republican Susan Collins. The woman that brought these new claims forward is Jenny Rasico. She told CNN and Politico Platner drunkenly raped her in 2021, recalling that night he came to her house uninvited.
I don't want to say that he looks like a drunk raper, but he really does. The facial hair, the kind of choppy top cut, and I understand veterans generally don't have great haircuts, and that's just the truth. It's just like a fact. Men don't care about their hair as much once they've been through what a lot of veterans have been through, and I admire it, and most of the time they actually have pretty cool haircuts and whatnot. Like if they do like a ponytail or some shit like that, or they really let it go, like kind of a mullet kind of I've seen people who do the full shave all the time. Like there are some really cool military veteran haircuts, and even when they don't really do anything with it, when they just kind of let it go shaggy, I still think it looks cool as shit, because like, oh, that's a guy that still has like an AK-47 in his garage and like is kind of the coolest person that you know. But Graham Platner does not have that energy. He has the energy. This haircut looks like an old pedophile they'd make. When they, back in the 60s, back when pedophile and gay was the same thing, where they were like, little boys, when you're out fishing, be careful, because a man in glasses with a receding hairline is going to come up to you and he's going to be like, I like fishing too. Do you like fishing? Like, that's Graham Platner's energy.
He had kind of jumped on top of me and indicated that he had intentions that were sexual in nature. And I remember just...
That sounds like bullshit. He came at me with wait, I want to hear her exact things that got to the sexual intentions, sexual in nature.
That he had intentions that were sexual in nature.
What was it?
On top of me. Indicated that he had intentions that were sexual in nature.
How did he indicate it?
And I remember just at first being like, hey, I'm not into this. I remember...
She talks about it like it's a dream that she had. She talks about it like it's this very loose thing. Sister, this was 5 years ago. This should not be cloudy.
An instant where I had recognized that he wasn't listening to me. It wasn't just that he wasn't hearing me or whatnot.
In a video posted to social media, Platner called the account false and claimed the allegations are coached and coordinated by out-of-state establishment operatives.
Oh my God.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Throughout it all, you never turned your back on me, and I will not turn my back on you now. Every one of you deserves to see that vision come to fruition and see Susan Collins defeated.
He's running.
Platner secured the Senate nomination by receiving more votes than any Democratic primary candidate in Maine history. And many of those voters have stood by him despite previous scandals. But now Platner's opponents and supporters are speaking out about the allegations, with many withdrawing support and calling for action.
Jamie Agelet is joining us live in the studio this morning. Jamie, who are we hearing from and what are they saying?
What are they saying?
Jess and Nora, support for Platner is fading fast. From federal lawmakers to groups right here at home, we're now seeing growing calls for Platner to drop out of the race for Senate. His opponent, Senator Susan Collins, calling the allegations appalling. But it's not just Republicans who want him out. Democratic nominee for governor Hannah Pingree writing, Graham Platner should exit the race immediately. She says no party should stand behind a candidate facing allegations of assault. Organizations like Planned Parenthood also pulling their support and financial endorsements. A spokesperson saying the Action Fund unequivocally believes women.
We unequivocally believe women, and we're absolutely, listen, we're okay with like third term, we're okay with like as late as you want. Planned Parenthood is not this perfect organization, by the way. Absolutely not. I feel like a lot of people should look into the intricacies that they have that make them a little, maybe not worthy of public money, maybe, like, I'm just going to be honest with you. Planned Parenthood makes me concerned sometimes.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who previously called Platner my kind of guy, is now saying Democrats need people in Washington who represent their values. Platner is holding on to some support, though. Author Stephen King writing on X that he hopes Platner does not drop out of the race, adding that he thinks many politicians have concerning behavior.
Let me read you Stephen King's exact tweet on X. Quote from Stephen King. Tell you what, if you knew the whole truth about everyone in the Senate and the House of Reps, those chambers would be dead empty. Jesus said, let him without sin cast the first stone. Oi, oi, oi. I thought you were the very anti-Christian guy. Like, I hate all these dumb religious people in my books. All these stupid religious people that I make the villains of my stories. You fucking loser, piece of shit, drunkie. Go do cocaine again. It's the last time you made any decent books.
Interestingly, no word yet from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who has been a staunch supporter of Platner's.
Hell yeah.
Now, Platner posted on social media to
feel
say
the burn!
that allegations are false, but also that he's taking time to reflect on what this all means for the future of his campaign. If he does decide to drop out, he must do so by July 13th. That's next Monday.
How fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, whether or not you think he should drop out, whether or not you think this woman's lying, whether or not you think anything, let your opinions be known. Talk about it with your fellow cohorts. Talk about it with your parents when you go to see them for the 4th of July. All right, wait a minute. Never mind. Maybe next year, because, Memorial Day, Labor Day, whichever one. Labor Day, because you can't wear white after it. That's how I remember which one comes later in the summer, which one comes first. Ladies and